everyone, Big Pauly back for a new movie review. Yes, I've just watched Arctic with Mads Mikkelsen, directed by, I think he's Joe Penner. One of the best survival movies ever made. It says it along the top, but I actually agree with it. I thought it was going to be good, but it really, really was a great film. Basically, the film starts out in the Arctic. That's it. There's a plane crash. You don't see the plane crash. It's just the aftermath, with Mads Mikkelsen surviving. It's a bit like the Alive, Spielberg's Alive, with the was it the rugby crew, the rugby team that crashed in the Andes, and it's also got some Castaway in there with Tom Hanks as well. Obviously in the snow, not in on an island, but also a bit of Flight of the Phoenix. Just swap the sand for snow, but it's a really good survival film. There's 3 cast members in the entire film. 2 really. The film starts out with Mads Mikkelsen doing his usual daily routine, surviving. You know, he's actually turned the remains of the plane that crashed, as you can see there, into his living space. He's got a little makeshift fishing set up outside with in the deep snow, in the deep water, with some pots and pans that crash if ever he hooks up some fish. So he's got it all planned out, and he's just basically living his life rather than just trying to survive. He has this whole radio thing that he keeps winding up, that tries to send out a signal. Of course, in this kind of situation, you want to try to attract some rescue, so you put SOS on the floor, save arseholes. I don't know whose arsehole they're trying to save. There's a bit of a mishap near the beginning. He thinks he's being rescued, but unfortunately there's a bit of a mishap with a rescue helicopter, and he has to nurse one of the occupants of the helicopter to life, try to save them. And then basically he decides he can't stay there. He can't stay with this plane. He's got to take this trek through the snow, through the Arctic, to kind of like a waypoint, a way station, a base point, which is up all through the mountains and over the hills and far away. Kind of thing. So he sets out for a series of adventures. You get to see the beautiful landscape of the Arctic. It's filmed in Iceland, but you wouldn't know, would you? One bit of snow is the same as any other bit of snow. They use these wide-angle anamorphic lenses, which try to show you as much of the actual landscape as possible on a grand scale. And it really works. You can see so much. Of course, there's some mishaps along the way. There's a bear. There's a couple of tense moments trying to navigate the mountains and things like that. A couple of OMG moments as well. And there's a little bit later on in the film, there's a moment that's kind of gives you a nod to 127 Hours with James Franco. If you've seen 127 Hours, you know what I'm talking about. But it's a really good film. It's a really gripping film. There's very minimal dialogue in the whole film. You could probably fit the entire dialogue of this movie on the back of your hand. That's literally it. Pretty much like when Tom Hanks was on the island. You know, he would talk to himself a little bit every now and again, but it's all about the situation. It's about the characters, watching them, seeing how they survive. And they've got no one to talk to. Obviously, it does get a little bit more dialogue with the helicopter crew, but yeah, it's a really good, gripping film. Some tense moments. Some people might say that it's boring because it's just one man going fishing, going back to his plane, cooking himself some fish, going to bed, getting up the next morning, going fishing, that kind of thing. So it's not one of these big fast-paced movies. It's a character film, but it's the situation that he's in and the struggles that he goes through. And I swear there's a moment later on in the film, and I'm going to hold my hand up now, because I haven't cried that much in a movie since Titanic. Yes, I cried at the end of Titanic. I was bawling my eyes out towards the end of this film. It's the emotion that Mads Mikkelsen portrays on screen. He's such a fantastic actor. So brilliant. It's just so mesmerising watching him in this role. He's always been one of my favourite actors ever since Casino Royale. And while he's out there in the Arctic, he would probably give that up if he could swing a giant piece of rope at Daniel Craig's knackers. But yeah, really good. Really gripping, tense. It's just an outstanding performance. An outstanding performance. I couldn't fault it one bit. And even if there were no other cast members, like I say, there was very few. There was only another 2 cast members. But if it was just him for the entire film, totally engrossing. Totally engrossing. I absolutely loved this film. I thought it was probably best suited in a clear case. But I hear there's actually a steelbook for this coming out, so I might be grabbing that in a couple of months' time. But yeah, this is a beautifully filmed movie. The landscape, the cinematography is incredible. It kind of gives you a sense like when you watch The Lord of the Rings and you saw, you know, Mordor and the rolling hills. It kind of gives you that kind of impact. The music is fantastic. Kind of like a sweeping orchestra, sometimes very sad, sometimes dramatic, but really, really great soundtrack. Dialogue is crisp, the picture quality is amazing. Obviously it's all white. You've got like a giant white screen, but the picture quality is great, and there's no problem with like grain, you know, like in The Grey with Liam Neeson. There's a lot of grey on the snowy landscapes. You don't get that problem here. But the sound is fantastic as well, which upscaled it to DTS Neuro on my system. You get a great soundscape and lots of howling winds and blizzards going all the way around you. It could have really done with an Atmos soundtrack. That would have been something. But yes, absolutely fantastic. There are some special features. I've watched the special features. There was a behind the scenes. They're only short, about 3 or 4 minutes. There's a behind the scenes and some deleted scenes and an interview with Mads Mikkelsen. So yeah, this is one of my favourite performances from Mads Mikkelsen. Just absolutely fantastic. So where would I rate this out of 10? I'm just going to give it straight up 9. Yeah, it's so good. It's such a great film. And if it's going to impact me that way, if it's going to induce any film that can induce any kind of emotion, whether it be happiness, sadness, crying, anything, then it definitely deserves a really good rating. So I'm giving it 9. So I hope you enjoyed my review of Arctic. There will be more reviews coming soon, including my very first reaction in 3D to Alita Battle Angel, which I never got to see properly in the cinema. So I'll be watching that and doing a review. But I'll also be throwing in other reviews of Blu-rays that I've picked up as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it by giving it some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I shall see you on the next movie review. Bye!